Well, Jason Anderson would have been a podium, small dock, 4th overall, but I do have to ask, that final main, you're coming from way back. Have you sent it that hard in a main event a while? You were rolling the first couple laps.
Yeah, I mean, being able to come from dead last to 7th in 12 minutes is pretty tough. So I haven't had that speed in obviously the last year to be able to do that. I haven't. And right now I feel like I'm riding really well, and it's pretty cool.
New bike this year. What does it do best for you basically so far? Like, what's your biggest improvement over the old chassis? What is it basically assisting you with the most?
I think this one's a lot more solid from beginning of corner to apex. And it makes my miles per hour be a little bit faster in that area. I think honestly just the chassis, I think we have less pitch on this new bike, and I think on the other bike we had a little more pitch, so there was a little more room for error on the front end, especially in the entrance of the corners. And the bike was very like teeter-totter, you know what I'm saying, the old bike. And I think our bike's super stable right now. So I think we're in a good spot, and I think we can keep rolling.
One thing that caught me off guard today is the back rhythm lane. You were going 3-3-4. As weird as this sounds, the only other person I saw do it was Cade Clayson in practice, and you were knocking it out all mains. Nobody else really touched it all night. Did you think other dudes were doing it? You were putting that section together and made it look so easy.
It was pretty simple for me.
The 3-in didn't look that bad.
No, and you want to know the funny thing? The only reason I did it is because I saw Cade Clayson do it.
Well, we were kind of joking up in the press box. We're like, dude, some team's going to sit down dartfish and go, okay, we have a section to show you, but it's Cade Clayson doing it.
Exactly, dude. When he was in front of me in practice and I saw him do it, and I was like, he did that super easy. And I was like, fuck it. And then I just started doing it.
Big one I noticed tonight, the way the track's laid out, especially the on, off in the back, kind of in turning rollers, whereas the whoops, there was just a lot of places where it seemed like you had to be really precise, getting into the pockets, not clipping. That's something you're really good at. So much body language on the bike, a couple things like that. That's something to me that stuck out, made the track look fairly technical.
It was tough. Honestly, the track was a lot of effort today. You had straightaway, but the straightaway was pretty much turning, so you're kind of on an angle. And then another tough part was even the flat corner before the whoops, it had rollers in it, so you're working the bike the whole time. So there's nowhere on the track that was really necessarily like a break. So I think it was pretty high heart rate.
Big one I noticed was positive for you in the final main, especially, is a lot of guys had gone to jump line, had gone to jump in and then skim. First set of whoops, you were skimming for quite a while, like on the sides before you went to the V-rut. The second set, you were skimming the right side, just killing people in those sections. Question for you about the whole V-rut thing. When you were staying up on the edges in the early laps, you were killing it. A lot of guys default to that V-rut later in the main. I would argue you looked better up on the edges. Is the V-rut just a safer option late in the main?
It's just, I was passing guys when I was on the edges. I think the edges is faster, but there's a lot more room for error. A lot more. And if you can be in the V, you're maybe 1/10 off of the other side without the room for error. So I think consistency as the main goes on, it's a little bit safer. But luckily I was good enough to be on the outside to be able to send it past a couple guys when I wanted to pass them.
The track from earlier in the day, like end of practice, very dry on the rhythm sections, but the corners were very rutted. They cleaned it up for the main. I was kind of surprised there was like no ruts left in the corners anymore. You guys were pretty much backing it in on almost every corner, cutting down, but the rhythm lanes were well wired. It just not what I expected for the main events after watching practice. Did it catch you off guard at all? Like how much the track changed?
Dude, in time practice, the track's a war zone. Like realistically. And I feel like if you make it through practice, that's like your most injury prone time of the day, because we're trying to do a fast lap, and to be honest, the tracks are dangerous. You know, just because they break down so much. It has nothing to do, I don't even know if they can keep up prep-wise or anything like that. And today, I think when they hauled the dirt in, it was soft, but the dirt dried out because we had wind, it's been dry. So when it was built, it was like crusty and soft, you know? And that just makes for soft kickers, you know, to where it's like spongy in the bottom and the top's hard. Luckily, it was dry enough to whenever they prepped it, it was actually quite a bit better whenever we got to the main events, but yeah.
I have to ask you at least one question about last week, more what you noticed tonight. Opening ceremonies, a lot of applause for you, not so much for Jett. Were you surprised at all or no?
It just is what it is. We've all been, to be honest, when you go through a career like me being 15 years in, the thing is like I say, I think you can really change people's opinion, and you just have to be strong on who you are. For me, I've gone year to year where I've had people that don't like me, had a lot of hate, and it's tough at this day and age with social media. But then right now, people like me for one post that I said what I thought, but at the same time, next week they could hate me.
Yeah.
So it's just tough how it goes, you know. And for Jett, I think it's part of it. He's in the spotlight, and that's what he wants. And the thing is he needs to stand on his ground and just keep digging and be great. And if he becomes great and pushes through this, people are gonna love him.
Yeah.
People booed Ricky.
Oh yeah.
You know, people booed Ricky, but then in the end, they loved him.
Yep.
So that's just how it is.
Do you feel like even your competition, like, I know there's guys that worry about racing you, but I feel like a lot of people at least generally respect you because if you do something, I feel like you say, like, yeah, I did this because X, Y, Z. Like, you're not, you don't dabble around it, kick around the bush.
No, I do feel like for the most part, if I've ever been on the other side of it to where I'm the aggressor, I know what I do wrong. You know, sometimes it comes from a place to where I feel like I have intent, you know, to be a dickhead. But then I also have sometimes where I'm just too eager, you know, to where I get in there and I'm like, sorry. Like, I'm already, like, in my head apologizing for what I'm doing, you know, because it's just a stupid move on my part. But we want it, you know, as a racer. So there's never lack of try for me.
Yeah.
And sometimes it comes off the wrong way in my riding and being too aggressive. But I just want it.
I'll say what I was saying from the fan standpoint. We're 4 rounds in. We've had 4 different winners. You still have probably to pick up one. Not pick up just one, but you're going to win this season. Eli, like, this is turning out to be what we always talk about every year beforehand. Like, we could have the most winners that we've seen a long time in the season. Does the competition level really feel deeper to you, or is it just the way it's playing out in the early races?
It's the way it's playing out. You never know. And right now, I have 1 podium. And honestly, my results have been kind of all over the place. Luckily, I've been 3 top 5, so I'm consistent, but I'm only 7 points out. If I wouldn't have got docked, I'd only be 3 points behind the lead. So it's a crazy series, but at the same time, you get 10 rounds in, you'll see who the players are. And I'm hoping to be one of them.